Welcome back to my channel, you little wiggly sausages. So, this video wasn't even supposed to exist, but here we are, I guess. The truth is that I was in a Pokémon mood and started doodling a couple of them with a pen, but then I thought, why not share this with the YouTube peeps? That's you, by the way. And so here we are. Fun fact, I had never watched Pokemon nor played the games as a kid, despite the fact that I always loved the concept behind it. Unfortunately, the daily schedule I was forced to have made it impossible for me to watch Pokemon on TV because it would air always at very specific times and I was always busy with something else when it was on. In terms of games, the Pokémon ones were a no-go, absolutely not. Mainly because they were always the most expensive ones at the store. So I ended up watching the anime for the first time only a few years ago, and I started playing the games maybe a couple of years ago, but probably less. I wouldn't say I'm addicted to Pokemon, but I definitely have months where that's just all I want to play. To be completely fair though, that just happens with everything for me. If I like something, I get mildly obsessed with it for a month or two, then I leave it be and focus on something else. But I eventually come back to it, and the cycle just repeats. I don't know if any of you remember it actually, but Disney made an animated series about Stitch, which was basically my version of Pokemon as a kid. It was different, by the way, but it had weird creatures every episode, and it was one of the few cartoons I was able to catch in the morning before going to school. So yeah, while other kids were watching Pokemon, I was watching Stitch. I like that one a lot, by the way. Maybe I should look it up again to see if it's still good. It probably is, I suppose. Don't remember a lot of it, but I remember the main concept, at least I think. Basically, Lilo and Stitch had to find other experiments like Stitch who fell on the island and were causing mayhem. Once found, they had to match the aliens to certain jobs that would benefit from their unique powers, because each alien had a different power. But anyways, speaking of what I was drawing in my sketchbook, first of all, I had to draw my lovely baby Arcanine, because it's my favorite Pokemon. I must have an Arcanine in every single game, if possible. Otherwise, I cry. Then I went on and drew Luxray because it's one of my favorites. Definitely top 5, for sure. And I was debating whether to fill up the page with random Pokemon I like, but then I had a vision, so to speak. Since it's springtime here, I thought of a scene featuring a bunch of different Pokemon on a lake or just a pond, surrounded by trees with petals flowing all over the place. Obviously, the end result is much simpler than what I described, but I wanted to try and paint this idea. So I sketched a few of my favorite mainly water-type Pokemon, plus a couple of more that I thought would look cute in this specific scenario. I wanted to add way more, but I wasn't confident enough in my ability to make a cohesive illustration, so in the end it looks a little bit empty, but I'm still happy with how it ends up turning out. Coloring small details with Marcus is still very much a challenge for me. I struggle quite a lot with the small details, but overall, I think I did good in this case. I wouldn't consider myself a water-type Pokemon girl, but man, Spheal has all my heart. There is actually a scene in the Pokemon Legends Arceus game where an NPC asks for help because its Theo has rolled down the cliff. And then they showed how it happened, and you can just see this blue ball rolling down the hill, and I swear it was one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. But funny enough, once you get this Theo back to the NPC, who is now thanking you, you can see this Theo in the back slowly backing up to the edge of the cliff again and then fall off of it again. I swear, there's not a single thought behind those eyes. I just love that little ball. Anyways, I think the idea to draw an illustration featuring only water-type Pokemon came from the fact that I've repeatedly been called a whooper from my partner. Apparently, I look like one. And I'm reminded of that on a daily basis. So I thought to draw one at first. Then I decided to draw the Paldean whooper. Paldean? I don't know how it's pronounced yet, to be fair. Anyways, I drew that one, because why not? Then I was like, oh yeah, let's draw a Psyduck peeking through, because Psyduck must be present at all times, of course. It's Psyduck. And from then on, I just kept adding water Pokemon, not realizing that the Paldean Whooper is not a water type anymore. So yeah, I guess we have a little bit of an imposter in the group. I kind of want to make a similar illustration to this one, but digitally, so that I can add more Pokemon and perhaps do a whole series where I just draw all types in their natural habitat. It could be fun, to be fair. But yeah, this was a little bit of a different video. I hope you still enjoyed it, because I liked making it. I might make more videos like this in the future, but about different fandoms. So yeah, let me know if you'd be interested in that. And yeah, thanks for watching and listening to my yapping session. Peace.